Welcome back to Retro Rebound. In today's video, we're talking about the little Sony handheld that never could. No, not the PSP, but its successor, the PS Vita. One of my favorites of all time, doomed for failure from day one due to Sony's lack of support for this console. So seeing this video title may jar you a little bit. Maddie, why are you buying PlayStation Vita games in 2021? I'm going to answer that question in this video today, but in short, I foresee a huge spike in the market on the way, and you better get ahead of that curve. For those of you who are new here, I ask you to check out my collaboration with SpawnWave. We ranked 10 games that we want to see be added to Nintendo Switch Online via the Nintendo 64. So go ahead, give that a look. Subscribe if you're new here. Let's talk about the PlayStation Vita. We got the Persona 4 Dancing All Night version right here, imported straight from Japan. Happy anniversary to me. Gift from my girlfriend here. Absolutely love this thing. Use it all the time, even if it's the LCD one, not the OLED one. So why am I telling you to buy games for the Vita? Well, if we fire up our Vita right now and we pop open the storefront, what you'll see is that you can't buy games digitally unless you have added money to your wallet on a separate PlayStation device. You can't use PayPal, you can't use credit or debit cards, and a lot of the listings on the storefront don't even have their images attached to them because PlayStation was in the process of tearing down a lot of the storefront. They were going to shut it down permanently. And when they decided, okay, we're going to keep it back up because of all of the backlash it received, they never restored anything and only removed more features since. So this thing, whether you want to believe PlayStation or not, is going to go. That digital storefront will be kaput very soon, and it's already difficult enough to figure out how to buy games on here because I was trying to buy the online pass for Resistance Burning Skies to get the Platinum Trophy, long story short, and I couldn't until I went on a separate account and added money to my wallet to then go on my Vita and buy it that way. That's just not optimal. So I foresee that this storefront is going to close, and soon we'll be left with the only option being online storefronts selling these games for absurd prices. So I'm going to share some of my purchases here today to get you all started because outside of one of them, none of these are expensive right now. And there are some Vita games that you can get on the low if you are looking out. So again, I'm insisting, please do consider checking out local game shops, going online, getting them while they're low because they're gonna go up in price in the next year. I would not be surprised if by 2022, PlayStation goes, okay, now we're actually closing everything down. You want to be ahead of that because you don't want to do impulse purchases and then end up buying games for double the price they were a number of months ago when your boy was warning you. So first one I got here for all of you. Have you ever just seen a game in a store and went, okay, I'll roll the dice? That's what happened here with Tokyo Twilight Ghost Hunters. I love visual novels on the Vita. This is a great starting place for a lot of you out there who don't own a PS Vita and are looking into it. This system was known for its JRPGs and its excellent visual novels. This one reviewed decently. I saw it there in the store. It came complete in box with the Under Night in-birth slip. Comes with the cartridge here. Nice and simple. But for me personally, I love a little virtual novel every now and then. It's pretty good. So as you can see here, price tag $20. Gonna have to fight that sticker off with some alcohol. Not a problem though. But again, really good starting point here. Visual novels, keep an eye out. This one is the type of game you gotta be on the lookout for. These are Asian English imports. So Gundam Breaker 3 Break Edition. This was a game that was not getting printed on store shelves often. It's very limited in quantity. And if you think the game looks good, again, now is the time to go out and purchase. You may notice, based off the reflection, this is sealed. I don't buy sealed. Y'all know me, but I don't like to crack the seal until I'm ready to play it. So I bought this a couple of months ago for $50. I imagine this will be one of the first ones to spike because it's a not only recent game, but also, again, Asian English import. I remember I got that for my copy of Final Fantasy IX on Switch, and that was about $50. So especially with the Vita, these are going to go up in price. Keep a lookout. But this comes with all 6 DLCs. It comes with a bunch of gunplas. It's really fun, almost warrior-style combat. And it comes from Bandai, which was not a huge supporter of the Vita in a lot of ways. So shout out to them for this one. Then we've got one of the launch games that was slandered for a while, Unit 13. Unit 13 is about the closest you can get in a lot of ways to a modern SOCOM game. I got this one with the, oh, look at that, online pass. It was during that era, man. Another killing blow to the Vita was them following trends like this because it just destroyed their online infrastructure, and no one wanted to play games that had online passes. But anyway, this has 45 missions where you are playing a third-person shooter. There's stealth options, and it's really good. It's actually super underrated in my opinion. I got this for about 18 bucks over on Mercari. So again, there are some games that are perceived to be expensive, like a niche visual novel or a third-person shooter that launched with the system that you could get combined for 40 bucks. Not too bad. Again, something you really want to keep the lookout for. How about more exclusive titles? Now, this has been ported, but this is where it originated, and I think there is a value put on titles that originate from a certain platform, one of which we will talk about in just a little bit, and that's Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation. So this is one that apparently has a really good story. It's open world, by the way, which is pretty surprising for the Vita. Very few games like that on this platform. It doesn't come with anything, sadly, just the cartridge. I got this one for $30. Now, there are better places to play this game, so is this a must-own? Definitely not. But it's one that I got because, again, I want to play it on the first platform it was made for in most instances to experience what the developer had intended. And I think this game is probably going to impress me more than playing another console-based Assassin's Creed game. But again, pretty cheap, $30. All of this combined, what do we got? 30, we have about 20, we have 20 again, and then we got 50. So we're talking 120 for 4 PS Vita games so far. Not super cheap, but in the scheme of most retro collectibles or things that are about to go up in value, you'll probably happily pay this price tag compared to what it will be in a number of years. Now, this is the last game I have to show off because, again, Vita games are expensive for the most part, especially the ones that are highly sought after like this one. So I'm pacing myself through it, but I wanted to make sure the audience was aware, like, now's the time to start ramping up those purchases in the next year or so. And then I'll show you some PlayStation classics as well. So the last one I have to show you in the Vita category is Gravity Rush. This was one of the definitive titles coming out on PlayStation Vita. And just like our friend over here, Assassin's Creed Liberation, it was an open world title, essentially. This game has a fantastic story, a really unique combat system based on gravity, where you're going to like float towards your enemy at high speeds and then land and kick them. The only sucky part is once you miss, turning around with the Vita's controller and trying to, use these dual analog sticks. They work really well, but you're like, I'm really fighting with it. So just know that's something that you will battle with a little bit in this version, but I think it plays best here on the Vita. This cost me about $60. That's a lot for a Vita game, but this usually goes for $90. I always recommend people check out Mercari, M-E-R-C-A-R-I. Go check it out. Great eBay alternative where you can put in offers. So some people have it listed at like $60, and you can put an offer and say like, hey, I'll give you 50 for it. And if they really want to get rid of it, you just save 10 bucks or you shave that off the shipping. It's a good way to save money. Again, a good alternative if eBay isn't giving you what you want and you don't have, say, a local game shop near you. So I got this off of Mercari for well below the price that it normally goes for. Normally, Gravity Rush is an easy $80 to $90 game. And the PS4 version for Gravity Rush Remastered is even more expensive. So technically, this is a good route to go if you're trying to experience the original Gravity Rush. So those are the Vita games that I've got so far for my collection. We're continuing to ramp up and build that up because, again, those prices are going to fly up once that storefront is gone. The other thing I want to point in your direction is less on Vita games, but I know here on this channel, we're not about, of course, the digital lifestyle. We're about physical collecting, showing off our game purchases, all that stuff. But I just want to point you in the direction of one thing, which is that one thing that's underrated with the PS Vita is not just its console quality capability, but also its access to an older library. Now, we'll talk about the PSP and all that stuff in later videos, but I love that the Vita has the potential to play PS1 classics, to play, of course, PSP classics. Keep that in mind that when the storefront goes down, that unless you want to build up a whole PSP collection like I have and build up a Vita collection, this can be your all-in-one package. This is a good place to get it all there. So keep in mind that these digital games, like I'm showing you here, we're talking Mega Man Legends 1, 2, Suikoden 2, Breath of Fire 4, Mega Man X4, X5. Those last two, not really necessary. We already have a Mega Man X collection remastered on consoles. But Breath of Fire, Mega Man Legends, Suikoden 2, if you don't want to buy those PS1 games, which are super expensive, then this is a great place to pick them up on and have them on the Vita in a way that plays pretty well, pretty authentically. But again, Suikoden 2, super rare game. probably best that you download this game. It's also available on PS3, but again, I like the portability of the Vita. I like the all-in-one package feel in my pocket. Yes, the memory cards are a little expensive, but I just wanted to shout that out too, that there is another route you need to take if you're investing in your Vita library, and that's keeping in mind games that are going to be on the PS1, PSP that you may want to have in that library, even if it's future-proofing. All these games here cost me about $5 a pop, so just know that what you're looking at for the PS1 classics won't run you up a ton of money. So that's also the really good thing here. Like, all of this combined cost me, when I bought it, right when they announced that the storefront was going down, I had impulse bought all of these, and that cost me about $20, $25 in total. So not too bad at all. I already owned Suikoden 2, so I just downloaded it, because at that time we didn't know like if they were going to fully tear down the store. Like, you couldn't access your download list, which eventually we learned you were able to. But just remember to make those purchases too, because you want to be proactive, not reactive in the collecting space. So you may think right now, I got another year. Get on it. Start getting some of these Vita games, because I'm telling you, they're going to go up in price. Even something like Gravity Rush, which there are better options to play it on, or Assassin's Creed 3 Liberations. There are better ways to play these games, but people are 100% going to spike the values of these games artificially. Remember what happened with the HD collections, like I told you in our PS3 video. But I just wanted to share the good word here on the Vita and remind you all to get collecting. If you're making any purchases or you have any recommendations, let me know down below. Certainly, I'm on the hunt, so I will be perusing and watching very carefully. But let me know what you're picking up. Let me know if you're still hunting for your Vita or if you're interested in purchasing one. And I'm looking forward to reading your feedback. But until next time, take good care of yourselves and peace out.